Hi everyone and welcome to my winter book haul, which is basically all the books that I bought in December and in January, because as you might have noticed, I haven't been making videos for the last couple of weeks because I haven't been feeling so well. I still don't feel 100%, so if I seem a bit off or if my voice is a bit that's because I'm not feeling too well. But I really want to show you all the books that I got because I'm really excited for all of them, and I read most of them already. I read an insane amount of books in December and in January. I think I read 11 books in January and it might have been even more in December. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, I really want to show you the books that I got, so let's get started. The first book I'm gonna show you, they're all in a bit of random order, is the book that I just finished. It's this gorgeous copy of The Return of the King. I have the Hobbit copy of this, and now I have the Return of the King copy, and I haven't been able to find the other two books yet, but I'm sure I'll be able to find them someday. I really hope so, because I love the way they look, and they make a tree when you put them next to each other. The tree that you see on the front. I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and I hadn't read it yet, which is really bad, but I absolutely loved it. This is a book that I got for Christmas. It's the Lux series that I've heard a lot about. I haven't read them yet. These are the first two books combined, and I'm really curious to find out what all the hype is about, because I've heard a lot of people talk about this on their booktube channels. I also got book 2 and 3 of the Raven Boy series. I absolutely loved the first book. It's by Maggie Stiefvater, and yeah, I can't wait to read part 2 and 3. I'm thinking about rereading part 1 before I read these, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Here's another book that I got for Christmas. It's a Professor Moriarty novel and it's called The Infernal Device. I didn't know that there were Moriarty books at all, but when I saw this one, I knew I just had to read it because it's from the perspective of Moriarty, and in this story he's kind of the hero and Sherlock is just kind of an annoying person who gets in the way, and I'm really curious to see how it was written and how that works out, because most people absolutely love Sherlock Holmes. I'm one of those. I'm a really big Sherlock Holmes fan. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what this book is all about and if we learn more about Moriarty. Another book that I got is Half-Blood. I've heard things about this from other people on their booktube channels and I'm really excited to read it. I also got part 2 in the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer. It's called The Enchantress Returns. I really loved the first book. I thought it was adorable. It's about these two kids that fall into an old storybook and find out what happened to all of the fairy tale people after the happily ever after, and they need to find a way back home. At least that's the first book. So I have no idea what the second book is about, but apparently The Enchantress Returns, and I'm really excited to read it. These are the only two books that I bought in January. All the other books are from a massive December haul. I kind of went crazy, bought a lot of books, and then got a lot of books for Christmas. The first one is 8 Days of Luke by Diane Wynne Jones. The reason why I want to buy two of her books right now, especially these two books, 8 Days of Luke and Fire and Hemlock, is because I was reading a book of Diane Wynne Jones called Reflections on Writing, and she talked a lot about these two books. If you want to know more about the Reflections on Writing book, it's gonna be in my next video where I show you all the books that I've read the last 2 months. Anyway, they were really good. I'm going to talk about these more in a different video, but I really recommend them. I also got myself a copy of the Bane Chronicles. I already had these on ebook, but I hadn't read all of them yet, so the first few stories were familiar to me, but the last few weren't. I loved it. Some of them were a bit less, others I really loved. I liked that you could see more about these characters that I love. I absolutely love Magnus and I love Alec, and I especially love the stories that featured both of them. But they're all really fun to read. If you like the Mortal Instruments series and the Clockwork Angel series, I really recommend that you pick up this book as well. Another book that I already made a video about is Girl Online by Sugg. I absolutely love this book. It was such a fun and light read, and I know there's been a lot of talk about if she did write it herself or if she didn't. Personally, I think she wrote it herself and just got a lot of help with editing, which is pretty normal, and she probably got a bit more help editing than most writers would have got because they have been working on a novel for years, and I think this one was written in 1 year probably. Anyway, I have a whole separate video about this book and I'll link it at the end if you want to watch it. Another book that I got is If I Stay. I've seen the movie a while back and I absolutely loved it. It was horrible and beautiful and amazing, and I loved how it was a really sad movie but a really happy movie at the same time, and I really want to read the book as well, and it's really good. You get some extra information and some things are different of course from the movie, but it didn't really bother me that much, maybe because it was a while back that I watched the movie, but I really liked it. I really recommend this book. Yes, we're not done yet. I still have a whole pile here. The next book is Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, and I like the idea of a girl who rents out the guest house behind her house and then the devil moves in. I thought it was a really interesting premise, and although this book is slightly disturbing sometimes, it was also really funny and a really good read, and I think I finished it in 1 day. I really recommend it. Another book is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I really like this book. It was a really fun and fast read. It is basically about the friendship between two boys. One's called Aristotle and the other is called Dante, and they kind of bond off the fact that they have weird names and the fact that Aristotle can't swim and Dante sees that and he teaches him how to swim, and that starts a whole friendship, and I thought it was a really good, sweet book and I definitely recommend it. Next is The Watcher in the Shadows by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which I'm mispronouncing. I actually met him once in this tiny bookshop in our tiny town. He somehow went there to sign books, which was amazing. I really like this book. It's in his young adult series. I think it's a part 2 of the series. I didn't know that until I was like halfway through, but it doesn't matter. They're just slightly connected in theme, but you can read them separately. And this is about a mysterious toy maker and a shadow that is quite dangerous, and I really recommend it. I also got The Shock of the Fall, which I want to read mostly because of the beautiful cover, but also of course because I thought it would be a fun book to read. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a really light, happy book, but it was a really interesting read and I do recommend it. I also had to get myself Ayla and Happily Ever After because I loved Anna and the French Kiss, and I also loved Lola and the Boy Next Door, and this one was really good as well. I liked that they explored some minor characters that were in the first book and that you got to know them better, and that's also about art, and I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it was a really good third book in the series. You can also read these separately, but I do recommend that you read them in order if you want to read all 3 of them. This is a pretty long video, I'm sorry for that. I'm still not done yet, I still have a pile there, but it's getting smaller and smaller. The next book I simply had to have just because of the title, which is amazing. It's called A Murder Most Unladylike, and it's by Robin Stevens, and I absolutely love this book. It's about these 2 girls in boarding school, and they start this detective club together. They call each other Watson and Sherlock, and they want to be just like them, and they solve minor crimes until one of them discovers a body of one of the teachers in the gymnasium, and when she comes back with help, the body is gone. So now they have a murder to solve, but they also have to prove that the murder actually happened because there is no body. And I thought it was really cleverly written. I really loved how they kind of half treated it like a game and on the other hand took it really, really seriously. I thought it was really fun to read, so I really recommend this book. This book I got at a secondhand store. It's Miss Potter by Richard Maltby Jr. I absolutely adore the movie Miss Potter. I think I've seen it like 5 or 6 times already. I love the paintings and the feeling of the movie, and it always inspires me to do something creative. That's why I really love to watch it. But even if you're not really the creative type, it's a really good movie. And this book is written by the man who wrote the screenplay, so it basically just, it's like reading the movie. So I wouldn't read this if you've just seen the film, and I probably wouldn't see the film if you've just read this. But if there's some time in between, it's fun to see the little things that he changed when he turned it into a book, and the extra information that he gives, and the fact that you can get into her head more and know what she's thinking. So I thought it was a really nice addition, and I think this was only like 50p or something. Another book that I got at secondhand store is River God by Wilbur Smith. It's quite a thick book, and I must confess I only picked this up because it's about Egypt. And I used to be incredibly Egypt crazy, like my whole room was covered in Egypt stuff. And it still has a soft spot in my heart, and I still love all things Egypt, so I'm really curious about this one. I also picked up Peeps in the second-hand store. This was only €1. At first I skipped this in the bookcase because I thought the name was really weird, but then I remembered that I've seen it somewhere before, and when I grabbed it and read the back cover I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy who wrote the Ugly series, and I really love the Ugly series. It's by Scott Westerfield, and it's about vampires, and that's always good in my book, so I can't wait to read this one. And lastly, yes, this is the last book of this insanely long video. I'm so sorry it's so long. Hopefully I can edit it down a bit, but I don't think so. If you're still here, yay! I hope you liked the video so far. The last book is a Dutch book. It's called Piratenbloed, which is Pirate's Blood. It's by Anne-Joke Smits. I picked up this book also in the second-hand store for €1.50. It's a hardcover, so that's not too bad. I remember reading this book when I was 13, I think, and I don't remember much about it except that it was about pirates and that I really liked it. So I thought, why not? Let's pick it up and let's read some Dutch books again, because I only read English books, and if I read a different language it's usually in German. So yeah, I need to read some more Dutch books as well. That was my insane winter haul. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you've read any of these books, let me know. If there's any of these books that you really want to read, let me know. And I'll be uploading another video soon where I discuss the books that I've already read. And if you want me to discuss a particular book in more detail, just let me know and I'll make the video for you. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more book videos from me, then please subscribe. Hopefully I'll feel better soon and start making more videos for you guys. But thanks for hanging in there, and thanks for watching. Doei!